All right, what I want to do is I want to make a video on how to use the Harley Davidson Ride Planner website to build a custom route and then get that route onto your GPS. I use this for motorcycle riding. I do a lot of local rides, trips, rally rides, things like that, and then rather have the GPS have just a start and an end and finding the quickest way to get there. I like to build a custom route using windy back roads, off the beaten path. So I'm going to show you guys how to use the software. I think the route planner, the Harley Davidson Ride Planner, is one of the better softwares out there. I used the Garmin Basecamp in the past. It just seems a little bit more tedious than using what Harley Davidson's put out. So anyway, a quick tutorial, but the first thing I'm going to talk about is the GPS that you have to use. If you're using a sort of a department store, Target, Best Buy, Walmart, Garmin, TomTom, automotive GPS, that could fall anywhere from 100, 150 bucks. That's not going to work with these custom routes. You need a more high-end hiking or motorcycle based GPS device to support GPX files. If you got a basic car navigation, it's not going to work. They just don't have the software built into them to take use of these types of programs. The one I just got done using over the last 5 years, if I can get this thing to focus, there we go. This is a Garmin Nuvi 550. Typically the Nuvi is an automotive brand of Garmin's GPSs. This one here is vibration proof, shock proof, waterproof. So this ended up working out pretty well. And then of course it supports the GPX files for custom routing. So I got 5 good years out of this one. It's been dropped a couple times. It's been super glued back together. Still working, but it was just, as technology goes, it was just time for an upgrade. The one I'm currently using right now, this is a Garmin Montana 680T, and this is a hiking GPS. So this came with just the topical maps on it, and I went ahead and installed the Garmin City Navigator maps onto it. One of the reasons I went with a hiking GPS is again, it's waterproof and shockproof. The battery lasts a really long time, and I like the simplicity of just having a simple power port versus having to buy a powered cradle for it. So this so far has been a pretty good GPS. So if you have a TomTom Rider or some other brand motorcycle style GPS, that will work, but once again, your automotive GPSs will not work. A quick way to find out is plug it in, look in the internal memory. If there's not a folder that says GPX files, then that unit is not going to work with one of these navigation softwares. Usually a good hiking motorcycle GPS is going to be a few hundred, and then the sky's the limit. This Garmin Montana here was 600 bucks, 700 plus the maps. The Nuvi 550 here, brand new, was $400. So you decide what GPS you want. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use the software. Right now that we are on the computer, let me show you how this is going to work. So I'm already on the Harley Davidson Ride Planner website, rideplanner-harleydavidson.com, and I have an account here. So you create an account, you can save all your routes on it. Here's all my routes, trips, rally rides, whatever you want. You can save up to 50 of them, name them what you want. You can go back and modify them and change them. You can email them to people, and it's just a nice little place to stash all your rides out once you've created them. If you're using a Garmin GPS, you go to Garmin here and just Google Garmin Communicator plugin. You install this plugin, and this allows you to sync your GPS through the website. I'll show you how to do it manually as well, in case you just want to do it that way, or you have a non-Garmin branded GPS, and you just want to download the GPX file and install. I'll show you both ways how to do it. So let's get started here. All right, let's go to full screen. So I have my home area here, Washington, D.C. area. I already know all these roads. I know what roads I want to use. You can use whatever roads you want. And if you don't know roads, just explore. You can go to satellite mode. You can do this here or Google Maps and look for roads you want to ride and go out, check them out. What I did for a lot of these is A, just years of riding, and B, I would go on Google Earth, I'd plot something around, I go out and check it out. Sometimes you hit gravel, sometimes you don't, sometimes the road just sucks. You just got to get out and adventure and figure it out. For today, for this, I'm going to show you how to go A to B, just to a location, and then I'm going to show you how to get from that location back and make it a big loop trip. So I'm going to build one of the routes here that I like to use on a regular basis. So where am I going to start off at today? I'm going to start off at Lamoto in Arlington, Virginia. Lamoto is our Vespa Aprilia Guzzi dealer here in Arlington. They're great people, and they've been very gracious. And last year on Saturdays, they would open the shop early and let us go in there and hang out and get some coffee and then start a ride from there. So they've been good people. So I'm just going to paste that in here. Now I have my start point. And where do I want to go today? I want to go out to Clifton, Virginia. That's a nice little halfway point. So right away what the route does is it'll go A to B the fastest way. From here, you're just going to create waypoints and manipulate the ride so it goes the way you want it to go. Sorry about that. Zoom back in here. My mouse got away from me. So what you're going to do is create waypoints. So how do we do that? So I want to take GW Parkway out of the city here. I don't want to... Stop doing that. I don't want to go out Route 66. So here's GW Warren Parkway. Here's Spout Run. Zoom in one more time here. So this is Spout Run Parkway right here. So the way you create a waypoint is you click on the map or click on the route. It makes one of these little dots here. Now you can take this dot and drag it wherever you want, and it'll start modifying your route. Okay. So I've got it on Spout Run Parkway, and that's taking us out to GW Parkway. Still want us going 66, but we'll fix that in a second. Always make your waypoints before, after, or make them in the order you want them to go. You can click on them at any time and change them, but I know that this is the rest of the route after this. So if I want to change something after this, I have to go to the route after. So I'm going to go past it, and I'm going to force this ride back to George Washington Parkway. So I'm going to create a new waypoint, and I'm going to drag it down here to George Washington Memorial Parkway, and until it forces us to go there. There we go. Look, I cleaned it up a little bit. Got it back here on Spout Run. So I got my first waypoint here in Spout Run, second waypoint here down in GW Parkway. Still trying to get us back on the freeway. So where I want to go today is I want to go down to Mount Vernon. So this is Mount Vernon down here. So mouse is very touchy. Apologize. All right, so I'm going to click here, make another waypoint. I'm going to drag it down here to Mount Vernon, let go of it. Now it's going to take us right along Mount Vernon, out to Route 1, and we got kind of a nice line out here to Clifton now. So it's still going to take us what is going to be predominantly the fastest route. So it's going to take us to Route 1 and back to 123. But now over here in Clifton, we got some really good roads back here. So we're going to click on 123, make a waypoint, drag it out on these nice little back roads. These are fantastic roads back here. Nice, windy, nice wooded canopies. Looks really nice. I'm gonna click again. I'm going to have it take me all the way out here and hit this nice little route. So I got like a little 40-mile loop now from Lamoto to Spout Run to GW Parkway on Route 1 for about a minute, and then all these nice back roads here at Clifton. So this is our good A to B route. So you can, do this over 100 miles, a couple hundred miles. when you plan a big trip, I did a trip, a 12-day trip 2 years ago. And what I did was I was averaging a few hundred miles a day, and I did each of the 12 days as 12 separate routes in this fashion. A to B, loaded the 12 routes into the GPS, and every day I got up, I started my route and did my day's worth of riding that way. And I brought my laptop with me to modify it on the fly. Right now that I have this, if I want to make this a loop and I want to come back to Lamodo, you don't want to make your start point and end point the same. It just confuses the GPS, because as soon as you start riding, the GPS goes, you're at the end, and it just ends. So I'm going to find a spot near Lamodo. Let's pick Military Road up here and add this as my third location. All right, so now I have my end of the ride here just before Lamodo. And as we've already seen, it's going to take us the fastest way, but that's not the way I want to go. I'm going to simplify this here from what I usually do. And I want to go through Fairfax and up and around Great Falls. So instead of going out this way, I got a Pope's Head Road right here. So I'm going to click here and say, hey, I want to go on a Pope's Head Road. That's far. Drop that there. And then I want to go back here to 123 in Fairfax. As you can see, like as I move around, it sort of selects what it thinks is the quickest route. So you just kind of move it until you're happy where it lands. So I'm going to go north out of Clifton, out Pope's Head Road. We're going to go up 123 here through downtown Fairfax. This right here is 100 Mill Road. And we're going to take that up to Great Falls. So I'm going to take 66 here. And I'm telling it that I'm going to go up to 100 Mill Road. Now, we got a lunch spot we like to use here. It's called Santini's. Or maybe I'd like to use it. When I do my rides, I like to go to where they have counter service, so we don't have to split checks. So I'm going to go here to Satellite. I'm going to zoom in. Find Santini's. Where's Santini's at? And Santini. Oh my god. The zoom. Back in. I apologize. Basically, what's happening here is I keep hitting the scroll wheel on my mouse, and the scroll wheel is going. Oh, you wanna zoom in? No, actually, I don't. Oakton, there we are. Sorry about that. See if I can keep this thing still. So Santini's is right there. That's where it's at. So just so I want to sort of remind myself where lunch is, I'm just going to pull myself down the street here in front of Santini's. And so I know that that's where I'm turning off to get in the parking lot and to go get some subs and pizza, whatever we're going to get that day. So I'm done with that. That's just a little reminder where lunch is. Alright, I want to go around Great Falls. Good riding up in here. So what I'm going to do is, after my last point, I'm going to create another dot. I'm going to drag it up here to one of the furthest points at Great Falls. I'm going to grab another one after that one and move it up here to the other corner of Great Falls. Now I don't want to go up Route 7. I want to keep going up this little side street here. So between this ride and this ride, I want to change it, or this waypoint. I'll click another dot, and I'm going to bring it right up here. This way we can go up and around Great Falls. Now, instead of jumping on GW Parkway right here, I want to keep riding on 193. So I'm going to bring it back down to 193, which is going to take us right to 123, right back to Military Road, and is going to drop us on this endpoint right here, not that far from Lamodo. So now I got a nice loop, nice big circle loop. This is a, I guess about a 90-mile loop. So for those who've been on some of my day rides, this might look familiar. Usually I go out here around Bull Run Post Office Road, but just keeping it simple for the video. Now, I have two separate routes here because if you have more than one destination, the GPS is going to do this as a route, and then this is a route, and you have to go to each one. So now that I've built my circle, I'm going to go back here to this midpoint, right-click on it, and I'm going to say change it to a waypoint. Now that that's a waypoint, I now have my beginning and my end, and the GPS will take us to each of these waypoints around. So this way you're looking at the total route and not the two pieces. So it's going to tell you your rough end time, your rough distance to destination, so you can use those calculations on your GPS. Now your route can't have more than 20 of these waypoints. Don't use more than 20. So what I'd like to do is go back now, and on some of these longer stretches, just click and add a waypoint in the middle of each one. And this keeps the GPS from calculating back to a freeway or faster road. You can have up to 20, and so I like to use all 20 of them just to keep the GPS in check. The route planner will let me know when I've used 20, which is what I'm trying to get it to do to show you. There it goes. Your ride has 20 waypoints for optimal performance. There's recommended each ride does not exceed. All right, now we're done. So I've built my route, start to finish, create all my waypoints. So now I'm going to save it. I'm going to save this ride, and let's call it Test Ride Fairfax. And these little boxes you can check just to reference points. And why not? Let's go April 1st. So agree and save your ride. The ride is saved. Now we can GPS sync it. We can do this two different ways. When you click on GPS sync, it has automatic mode and manual mode. If we click here to manual mode, it's going to have import and save as a GPX file. Click save as a GPX file. So click save, Test Ride Fairfax, export stops and waypoints. Let's get out of the full screen mode here. And with that went, here's to my data here on the desktop. So now that my GPS is plugged in via USB, I'm getting both the internal memory and my SD card I have installed in my GPS. When I go here, it's going to say Garmin, GPX. There's a whole bunch of routes in there. Just drag it in there, drop it in. Now let's replace the one that's already in there. All right. So now it's in the GPX folder. That is the manual way of doing it. What you'll do is you'll go back to the GPS and import it from your custom routes. The automatic mode, if you're using that Garmin communication plugin, when you click GPS sync, it says automatic mode. It's going to detect my device. And there it shows up, Montana 680T. And I want to export this route to that GPS. Test Ride Fairfax, export stops and waypoints. Export complete. That's it. It's done. It's on the GPS now. So here I've generated my route. Start point, end point. Use the waypoints along the way to tweak it to the roads I want to go to. And I'm done on this end. So what I need to do now is go back to the GPS. So let's go back to a different camera view. All right, now that we're off the computer, and I have the route loaded on my GPS. Now when you plug the GPS into the USB port in your computer, it goes into a USB mode. Once you've unplugged it, it takes a minute to boot back into your normal GPS desktop here, I guess you would say. So now on my Garmin Montana, I go here to the side menu and I go to Route Planner. And that'll pull up all the routes I have on here. And I've got a few on here from my local rides. You can keep as many as you want on here. I like to just keep the few I might be working with or going on because I tend to change them, and this way they're mirrored up. So you see here it says Test Ride Fairfax and Test Ride Fairfax. The reason it's on here twice is because I showed you both ways of doing it. I showed you how to manually drop the GPX file into the folder, and then I also showed you the automatic mode using the Garmin communicator plugin. So that's why we have two different versions of it in here. When I click on it, I'll go ahead and click View Map. It'll take a second, and it's going to go ahead and render the ride out. And there we go. There's the rendered out ride, and there's all the pins that are showing all the waypoints. So I'll go back Back again, go back to the main screen. And I'm going to get where to. Where do I want to go today? Once again, I go to routes. Test ride Fairfax. And it's going to do the same thing. It's going to load up, show me all the drop pins. I'm going to hit go. And it's going to go ahead and calculate. All right, now that it's done calculating, first thing it's always going to do is I'm here home in Alexandria, and it's going to show me how to get to the start of my ride. In this case, I chose Lamoto, and so what it'll do is it'll navigate straight to Lamoto first, and then once it's done, get me to Lamoto, then the route will start, and it'll take me on my ride. There we go. There's a normal view of it. Now, while you're navigating, it doesn't show the pins in the road. It just shows, just like you're driving on a normal turn-by-turn, getting to a destination. It's going to drive the route. It'll let you know a waypoint's coming up, and once you pass it, it just keeps on going. Real simple. So there you go. That's how you use the ride planner and get these routes on your GPS. Like I said, you have to get a specific GPS. For those of you who are wondering, there is not yet an app on a phone that will allow you to pre-download the maps and then get a GPX software on there, or a GPX file on there to use with the software. And just as a side note, I mean, you know, this was $400. I got 5 years out of it. I've spent about $700 of this so far. Hopefully I'll get 5 or more years out of it. This was $1,000, and it's not meant to be on the handlebars out in the rain, the wind, with the vibration. So for those of you who are really hoping for something to end up on your phone, I don't want my phone on the handlebars. I'll use it in short trips to get around town, but for a nice long motorcycle trip, nothing is as good as a dedicated GPS. So I hope this video has helped out. If you have any questions, drop it, comment in the comment section on the video. Other than that, I hope you guys are out there. Enjoy riding. Be safe.